I've been at this a long time. Started my first talk show in 1978. Do the math. I've never felt a more profound sense of urgency in reminding you, every single American who listens to this radio show, it is all in your hands. You are going to make a decision about the future of this country. As Philadelphia burns, as anti-cop protesters leave a trail of destruction in Brooklyn, New York, as a result of another police shooting involving an armed suspect. Nothing matters except your vote. It really doesn't. Nothing else matters. I don't matter. This radio show doesn't matter. TV doesn't matter. Polls don't matter. Pundits and so-called experts telling you what's going to happen on November 3rd, they don't matter. The only thing that matters is the American people. We know the universe is against Republican candidates for office, from Trump on down. We all know that. It's not difficult to figure this out. The media won't cover the extraordinary hour on Fox News last night, Tucker Carlson's interview with this Bobulinski guy. This decorated guy, he was had a high security clearance, respected. He was the Biden family business partner. Media won't touch it. Heck, I don't see it round the clock on Fox News because the media doesn't think the American people either care or get it. Last night, dozens of people were arrested in Brooklyn, New York. Hundreds of protesters destroying police cars, burning an American flag, and igniting fires during their protests yesterday in Brooklyn, New York. This was last night. I'm reading here from the New York Post. Burn the precinct to the ground. Every city, every town, the group chanted as they marched through downtown Brooklyn, New York. The video of the shooting of this gentleman in Philadelphia, pretty clear to see a man with a knife advancing on police who are retreating and ordering him to drop the knife, and he doesn't, and he was shot and killed. It's once again something we've seen in America over and over and over again. And people say, okay, is this a man with a mental health crisis? Is this a guy who is having a bad day? Is this a guy under the influence of fentanyl? Is this a man who is on drugs? Is he drunk? Why in the world would anyone advance on a police officer with a knife and not expect to be shot? Well, this whole narrative has been turned on its ear because the woke crowd, the left, and the anti-cop Democrat Party suggests that every confrontation with a black American is precipitated by systemic racism. That's the supposition going in. Doesn't matter. You got a violent guy waving a knife and charging at police officers. If he's shot, it's because the police officer who shot that man is a racist and hates black people. And you got an option here. Because again, if you don't feel helpless, because you can change this narrative. After the shooting that led to looting and destruction from Philadelphia to Brooklyn, New York, and beyond, the Joe Biden for President campaign issued a joint statement from Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. It said, Walter Wallace's life, like too many others, was a black life that mattered. to his mother, to his family, to his community, to all of us. At the same time, no amount of anger at the very real injustices in our society excuses violence. And they went on to make some weird rhetorical flourish that vandalizing businesses does not bend the moral arc of the universe closer to justice. Whatever the heck that means. The governor of Pennsylvania literally called the rioting and the looting peaceful protests. He said it after at least 12 Philadelphia police officers were in the hospital. Can you imagine the family of a police officer, the worried, anxious, terrified family, heartbroken family of a police officer listening to their governor, Governor Tom Wolf, calling the protesting, the riots, the looting peaceful protests? This phrase is becoming a joke. This is becoming a punchline. This is the governor of Pennsylvania, the Democrat governor, after 12 police officers wound up in the hospital because of the violent mob. Listen to this.
As everyone is really sad by the I share in mourning with the family. Anytime that happens is a tragedy for whatever reason, and I think we need to make sure that we follow up, find out what happened. I'm and my staff have been in constant communication since last night with the folks in Philadelphia, and the hope is that doesn't escalate into anything more than the peaceful protests that I think this kind of situation brings out.
I'm not even sure if he's playing a joke on the terrified citizens of Philadelphia or not. Peaceful protest. That's we've seen this over and over again. The CNN reporter standing in front of the burning buildings saying, "There's peaceful protest here." Remember the CNN graphic? Fiery but peaceful protest. I don't like to get involved in personal attacks. This governor is a moron. This is the Democrat governor of a very prominent state that is right now in the center of a national raging debate. The stammering, the stuttering, and let's just trust that this won't escalate beyond the peaceful protest that it's already been. As 12 police officers were hospitalized. Now it's up to, I think the number is 90. Over 90 police officers have been injured trying to quell the violence. Wonder how many officers in New York are going to get injured. And the video, we've got it posted. This is a good day as you're listening to this station. Very good day for you to be on a computer and look at MikeOnline.com and click Watch Mike on TV, and you can see the video of Walter Wallace Jr. advancing on the police with a knife as they're backing up, and then shooting him. And that led Joe Biden and Kamala Harris to suggest that somehow the police did something wrong. And I don't doubt that they're going to investigate this man's shooting because of the mob. The mob is going to demand a pound of flesh. And I'm not so certain these police officers won't be prosecuted. Which means that every single police officer in America, from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, to Greer, South Carolina, are going to have to put their life in jeopardy when a dangerous person is advancing upon them with a weapon. Because if somebody videotapes it and they're defending their life, the whole country might go up in flames. Listen, none of this really matters, because right now there is one thing that matters, and that's a decision you're going to make at the ballot box. There is a stark stunningly drastic difference between the Democrats who want to run this country and the party that wants to maintain legislative control. A president who wants to win re-election and Republicans up and down the ballot who want to be re-elected. One party defends law enforcement. One party respects police. The other party does not. Here was the president on the subject of law enforcement in America.
And I will say this, if you're going to stop crime, we have to give the respect back to the police that they deserve. They've done a fantastic job in so many locations, but then bad things happen. Look at New York. New York was a very safe city. Rudy Giuliani did a fantastic job. The city was safe, and then all of a sudden we have a mayor. He starts cutting the police force, and crime is up 100%, 150%. I saw one form of crime up 300%. So I think it's very important, whether you talk Seattle, where they have very good police, but they're not allowed to do their job. You have to allow the police to do their job.
It's up to you. It doesn't, nothing else matters.